Welcome to The Shift, the podcast that empowers you to make a change in your life and chase your dreams with passion and purpose. If you are tired of feeling stuck in a life that doesn't fulfill you, if you have big dreams and ambitions but struggle to turn them into reality, if you want to break free from self-doubt and limited beliefs, join us every week to listen to inspiring stories from regular people just like you, actionable insights, and the motivation you need to make the shift towards your own dreams. And please don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review to help spread the message and inspire others.
Hey shifters, welcome to the next episode of our show, The Shift. Today I have a good buddy of mine, Tinny Colin. He's one of the people that I admire. I admire him because he still has a W-2 job, but he is trying to break through into real estate. And he owns a few properties. He's doing a lot of great things right now on how to improve his real estate status, how to get in more properties. So I'm really interested into diving into this conversation with him, as a lot of people that I know is trying to break through into this industry as well. Tinny, welcome to the show, brother.
Eugene, thank you so much for having me on, man. I know that we've been trying to make this happen for some time, and I'm super excited to be here, man. Thank you.
And thank you so much. I'm really glad you're here tonight.
Thanks, brother.
Hey,
Me too.
yeah, so for our listeners and viewers that don't know you, maybe you can tell us who you are and what do you do?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll give a quick summary. So my name is Tinny Colin. I'm 25 years old. About to turn 26 this year. Like many of your listeners, I've got a passion for real estate. I started my journey 2 years ago while going to school and working a part-time job. I wholesaled a handful of deals, all virtually, while living in Vermont. And then I got tired of the cold. Oh, in Vermont, there's pretty much just ski and snowboarding that you do 9 months out of the year. So I decided to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I live now, and where I invest as well. And I got a sort of a customer service job at the time while still going to school. I was making about $35,000 a year, W-2 at the time, before taxes. And the money that I was able to make from wholesaling, I essentially used it as my down payment for my first house. So I was able to qualify, purchase the standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a C-class neighborhood in Gastonia, North Carolina, which I'm not sure if your listeners know, but at the time it was the transitioning area. So it was still kind of the rougher part of North Carolina. But I wanted to house hack. So I rented out 2 bedrooms, which at the time was enough to cover the mortgage, but not enough cash flow. So I used the space available in my mudroom where the washer and dryer were, and I slept there for a year, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was tough, man. Had to do what I had to do, right? So I rented out my 3rd bedroom, saved up enough money to buy my second house in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I live in now. Then I have a bedroom, so I graduated.
Nice.
So I moved out of that house. I converted that mudroom where I was sleeping into a bedroom. But now the house is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And I'm now renting out each room in that house. And I just realized that scaling single family was a nightmare. And I created systems and processes to target off-market multifamily properties within the 5-unit to 40-unit range in the Carolinas. And 4 months into making that switch, I have officially purchased my very first multifamily property where I plan on taking the property full cycle within 5 years.
Nice. Clear a few things up for our listeners, right? So, because people may not know what wholesaling is, or house hacking is, or commercial properties, what commercial properties are. So just to summarize real quick, so wholesaling is where you take a contract, you're not buying a property, you assign it to someone else, and you're making money on that spread. If you get a contract for $40K, you assign it to someone for $50K, you're making $10,000.
Correct.
Right? And house hacking is you buy a house, you live in that house, but what Mr. Colin just mentioned, he rented out the other bedrooms to other people, or you can buy a duplex, right? 2 units, you can live in one unit and rent out another one, and you're making money by renting either other units out in the same, by other rooms out in the same unit where you live, or you're renting the other units out in the same house where you live, right? Absolutely. And that's how you basically live for free, because your tenants are paying you money and you pay mortgage for those money.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, man. And both of those strategies are great ways to get started in real estate. You hear me mention it a lot, right? Wholesaling is a great way to get started, to build up that capital and to learn the acquisition side of real estate. And then house hacking is a great way. I think I've heard people call it's like a landlording on training wheels. Because you're learning how to be a landlord while living.
That's so good. This is so good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the quick intro, Tinny.
Yes, sir.
So I was curious, what made you look into real estate? Why not something else?
Absolutely. What got me originally interested in it, and it wasn't like necessarily so clear at the beginning that I wanted to do real estate, right? I graduated from college. I was I had no direction on what I wanted to do after college. And to me, right, like I was just always taught to, hey, go to school, get a job, retire after like 50 years or whatever. And so after graduating from my undergrad, I started studying to get into my master's degree. I was working odd jobs here and there. And my older brother gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Right. And while reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's funny, it's not like necessarily a real estate book, but it mentioned a real estate strategy within the book. And that right there is what sparked my interest into digging more into the real estate business. And nice. That was it, man. It was just reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Thank God that my older brother gave me the book. And then from there, I started doing research, and the rest is history.
Nice. Yeah, that's incredible. Like Rich Dad Poor Dad, I think it's one of the fundamental books that I think everyone should read. Yeah. And I know that it did change my course of thinking into things that I wanted to do. Absolutely. So that's a great mind shift. That book is a great mind shift.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that you and your audience can definitely relate to me, real estate was always about having control over my life. That's of income. It's that simple. I wanted to be able to do what I want to do, and to be able to provide the things that I want to provide for me, my family, and my friends.
Yeah, that's great. This is absolutely great. And and real estate vehicle is one of those things that you can actually do that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. What was so I'm curious, when we go back to the moment of you realizing like, hey, real estate, this is the thing that I wanted to do. What was the biggest limited belief that you had at that time that you had to conquer?
Ooh, where do I start?
Let's start from the beginning.
Probably limiting beliefs. One, money, right? How am I able to buy real estate if I don't have any money? And all these limiting beliefs I'm telling you now, I've definitely broken past it. But money was one. Partnership was another. And those are really the main ones, because I always knew that in real estate, it takes partnerships to get deals done, and it takes money. And my ability too, right? My knowledge, right? Because you have to understand, when you get started into anything, right? And for me, when I got started into real estate, I didn't have the knowledge. So I didn't know anything. When you don't know much about something new that you're getting into, it's hard to feel confident that you're going to be successful in doing it, right? And you combine the inexperience with not having money and not having the relationships, man, right? It's like, do I even want to do this? But I think you're the same way as well. Like, I'm a very ambitious guy, and when I want to do something, I do it. So
Cool. So how did you sort of pass that line? I don't have any education, I don't have any money, I don't have any partnerships. Okay, so where did you start? Where did you start? It seems like it's like a triangle, right? In one corner you have relationships, in one you have money, in another you have education.
Right.
So where did you start, and how did you start?
education was number one.
All right.
Education was number one. That's a really good question, right? Because you have to start somewhere. And I started educating myself, man. YouTubed a lot of videos about wholesaling. And it wasn't just wholesaling, it was learning to the acquisition game, how to talk to sellers, how to negotiate, how to underwrite a deal, how to run numbers. So I really educated myself, man. Podcast to this day. I make like one of my goals for this year is to read 100 books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Networking. I really started educating myself about this game, real estate, and that's where I started. And then from there, that made it easier to get the other two, right? The other two sides of the triangle that we talked about, right? Money and relationships. That I first took was relationships. So I started networking with other people that were wholesaling. I started networking with other people that were buying single family homes. And then that made it much easier to understand, okay, here's how you're able to get money, right? Which is wholesaling, which is how I eventually got capital to put as down payments for my first house. See, so it was definitely a process, but yeah, that was my process.
That seems very simple, right? But it's so powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's simple, but yet powerful. That's awesome. You mentioned that you went on YouTube and started learning about wholesaling. For people that may be interested in how to do wholesaling, do you have any recommendations? Maybe besides YouTube, or maybe like one YouTube channel that you really like that you think other people would like. Like, what is the one educational resource that you may recommend to our listeners and viewers?
Absolutely. Well, there were two guys that inspired me for wholesaling. One was Max Maxwell, and the other guy was Max Maxwell. Was a huge component of my education when it came to wholesaling. Max Maxwell is a is a real estate wholesaler, residential, here in North Carolina, actually. And he has, right now, like, he doesn't talk about it much, but he has a lot of videos. Like, if you go to his YouTube channel, he has a lot of videos that goes back 2 years ago, where he
Mm-hmm.
a lot of wholesaling strategies, right? How to find sellers, how to find deals, how to skip trades, things like that. And so I would highly recommend anybody that wants to get into wholesaling to look at his channel, because it's very valuable.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, there you have it, guys. So if you do want to start, if you do want to start in real estate, and if you want to start wholesaling, right, Max Maxwell could be a great resource. Thank you, Tinny.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I'm curious, what's driving you? What's driving you to achieve this goal that you have? What is your why?
Absolutely. A couple things, but I think my main why is my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah. I want to be able to provide her with something that she deserves, because she has made a lot of sacrifices for me and my family growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the background that I come from in Congo, right, which is the poorest country in the world. The fact that she was able to strategically help us move out of Congo and provide us with the opportunities of a better lifestyle, right, while making the sacrifices that she made along the way, right, to pay for school, to pay for everything else. That's the least that I can do, right? And so the main reason why I want to be successful within real estate, by success, I mean being able to, provide myself with a certain amount of income, is so that I can use that income to provide her with the lifestyle that she wants. That way she doesn't have to worry about money, because that was always the big thing growing up. Money is always a problem. If I'm able to make that not a problem for her, that she can focus on the things that she really wants. You know what I mean? So
Totally. Totally. No, I think it's great. It's so important. It's so important to have this why, right? Because this why is driving us to that specific goal, right? Like you need to have it's like a meaning, right, in your life, right, that you want to get to. So that's pretty cool, man. She must be really proud of you.
sometimes.
Is she here? Is she in US?
She lives in Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get her to move to North Carolina, because she's tired of the cold too.
Nice. I hope you'll be able to make it,
Yes, sir. Me too.
to make that happen.
Working on it, actually.
Yeah, nice. So let's go back for a second to that triangle, right? Relationship, money, and education. How did you start making the right relationships that could help you move things forward?
Good question. So very, very basic start to my networking journey began when I joined Facebook groups. I joined a bunch of real estate Facebook groups at the time. Real estate investor Facebook groups. And I started like observing who were the individuals that had the biggest activity, right, as far as deal flow, or just the biggest like activity when it came to their business. And I started reaching out to them, right? And I wanted to schedule calls, right, to understand more about them. And as a wholesaler, right, I also wanted to provide them deals, right? Hey, what's your criteria? What are you looking for? Things like that. And I did
Mm-hmm.
the same thing in Bigger Pockets too. Bigger Pockets is another platform that I forgot to mention, but that was huge in my networking journey. I connected with a lot of people there, and those individuals that I connected with on Bigger Pockets were not just wholesalers. They were people buying apartment buildings at the time, people buying large portfolios at the time. So that helped me understand, oh, like I don't just have to wholesale. I can actually buy things on my own too and own properties instead of just selling them off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, it was really connecting with people online, scheduling calls, and then going to my local meetups as well.
Mm-hmm.
Meetups have been huge to my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even say that enough, Eugene. Like, it has literally changed my life. Like, the people that I have met just at going to meetups, man, it's crazy how it works. Like, you just go to a meetup and you meet somebody that either becomes your business partner or you meet somebody that introduces you to somebody who's going to change your life. So meetups were also a huge, to this day, huge component of my success.
So it sounds like between Facebook groups, Bigger Pockets platform, and meetups, local meetups, actually local meetups was the big influence,
Absolutely.
the biggest influence.
Yes.
Okay. If you were to put this in order, it would be local meetups,
Mm-hmm.
Bigger Pockets Facebook groups, or Facebook groups, Bigger Pockets.
Local meetups for sure. That's number one.
Okay.
And then I would say Bigger Pockets played a bigger. No, actually, Facebook played a bigger. Real estate and investing Facebook groups second, and then
Okay.
third, Bigger Pockets. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, guys. So, if you do want to start with like how Tinny started, this is the road to success. He just laid it out for you. Go to meetups, join Facebook groups, and go to Bigger Pockets platform. This is like great suggestions, Tinny. Thank you. Guys, get out from your house, because in your house, you won't find really anything, right? So if you want to succeed, you need to go out of your house and meet people and explore. Even if you're an introvert, right? You have to take courage, guys. Take courage, go out, meet people. I think you'll be surprised at what direction it can lead you. Like this is what Justine said. You don't know who you meet, who you get introduced to, right? And you don't know that person that you will meet can change your life like he changed Tinny's life. That's incredible, man. That's absolutely amazing.
Would you consider yourself an introvert?
That's a good question. I think I was more introvert before than I am now. I would probably right now would not consider myself a complete introvert. I do like to talk to people. I do like connecting. I do like talking to people. I do like connecting with people, networking. And yeah, that's a great question, man. I don't think I am right now, but I think I was definitely a very shy person.
Yeah.
Maybe like in my middle school years. And you still are?
You have to get out of your comfort zone.
You have to. Yeah. And how, so question for you. How, being an introvert, how you are actually making the steps towards connecting with others?
Yeah. So I actually have a few strategies for this, Eugene. My first one, like let's say that I go to an event, like a live event, right? A big conference or a small meetup. I make it a point to talk to the first person that I see.
Okay. Nice.
And I always tell this to people, right? Like if you just do it, if you just get started, you don't think about it. You're gonna start getting into a rhythm, right? Where it's gonna be more comfortable the more people you speak to. So if I go to a conference and a large conference where a lot of people are there, I just go to the first person that I see and I say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
and I introduce myself. Shake my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, you mentioned easy. For some people, it's still kind of a little bit difficult, right?
Yeah.
If people are introverts and they play in their mind that, hey, I'm going to go to the event, I'm going to shake hand of the first person I meet,
Mhm.
right? And then they go to the event, they see that person, they're like, probably not. So that's it. Did.
Yeah, man. It takes time. It takes time.
What would be your advice to people on how to make that first step? Like, you can play in your mind like lots of different scenarios, right? But when it comes to reality, people may freeze, right? What would be your advice to people that are introverts, but they need to go out and meet people? Like, how do you think they would need to do it?
Yeah. So if going to a conference and introducing yourself to the first person that you see is difficult, I would say starting slowly, right? Because being an introvert is very hard, especially in the real estate business, because man, like you just have to network. It's simple as that. You have to network. So if going to live events is difficult, join local real estate groups and connect with people via phone call. Like it doesn't have to be a video conversation. Right. That doesn't have to be a Zoom call. It doesn't have to be any video conferencing. You can just connect people from a call. Or if you don't, or if that's scary as well, connect with people via messaging. Message people, but you have to at least join a certain group or organization where like-minded people that you're looking to either be like or roll with. You have to be within that sphere, right? That sphere of influence. You have to be within the room and start slow. Message people first or get on the call. And yeah.
That's a great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great advice. It's like, if you can't meet people for the first time, like Tinny just mentioned, connect with them via Facebook Messenger, schedule a conversation over the phone, and then perhaps schedule a meetup with that person, right? I graduated slowly from Messenger to
Shaking hands.
meetup to shaking hands. Love it, love it, love it, man. This is good. This is awesome. What would be, I know we talked about lots of different, you mentioned lots of different tips in our conversation, but what would be, what do you think is number, what would you recommend to our viewers and listeners today so they could take their first actually step into the direction that they want to live lives on their own terms? What would be, what do you think would be that specific tip, one tip that you could share with our listeners or viewers?
Yeah. To take the step into the life that they want,
Yes, sir.
regardless of what it is. Okay. Yeah. I would definitely say education. You have to educate yourself, regardless of what you want to accomplish, right? You have to educate yourself. But even further than that, I think it's you have to have a clear vision, right? You have to have a clear vision of what that perfect life looks like, right? Imagine yourself, close your eyes, imagine yourself seeing what that life looks like, right? And then work backwards from there. Work backwards from there. Analyze what needs to be done Because for every step that you're going to see that needs to be done, you're going to have to educate yourself on how to do those things, right? Once you educate yourself, then it's networking with the people that will help you get to each of those steps.
And this is so good.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah.
This is so good. This is awesome. Just to summarize, visualize the goal.
Yes.
Go backwards, create the steps to get to that goal, and connect with people that can help you get to that goal. Yeah. This is so awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
This is incredible.
And it's really that simple. I think if you talk to the most successful people in our planets, they will tell you that like you first have to see where you're going. You have to feel, taste, hear what it looks like to be where you want to be, and work backwards from there, and then educate yourself every step of the way.
That's awesome. Very cool. Love it, man. Love it. Well, what is your biggest goal? Where you want to be?
Yeah. And I wrote it here, my daily action plan to 100 units. So that's definitely something that I would like to accomplish by the end of this year.
Okay. 100 units. Nice.
And I have a bunch of goals. I would like to be more in tune with my spiritual self this year. And these are just personal goals. I want to be more in tune with my spiritual self. I want to be able to donate some more to the causes that I believe in. I want to be able to retire my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to become more healthy. Right? Like I want to be more healthy because I think that plays a big role into the way that I think, right? My mindset, which eventually translates into business, right? So if I'm able to accomplish those things, it's going to translate into business, which my business goals is one, to get 100 units by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I also would like to be a limited partner as well into non-accredited ventures, much bigger deals, like 100 units and up. And I want to develop more partnerships. I want to develop more business partnerships with the individuals that will be able to help me into my goals, but I'll also be able to help them into their goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to develop more win relationships, and continuing to educate myself this year is a huge component as well. And I think we mentioned that very well today. I want to continue educating myself, but not just in real estate, right? In business as well, right? How to buy businesses. I really want to learn that. Because as we see, multifamily now is getting a bit too saturated, right? And so I think buying businesses now is a bigger opportunity to still get the positive returns that we're looking for. So
nice. That's very cool.
And I also want to go back to Congo, Africa, where I'm from, because there's a lot of opportunities in Congo as well. I would say that Africa as a country is a wholesale deal.
It's a very interesting angle.
Yeah.
It's a wholesale. Interesting. I think that could be like a whole different conversation about how could people take advantage, like, of, I wouldn't say advantage, like how would people look at Africa as a way to improve Africa, but also probably make money along the way and give those money away to different charities or do whatever people want to do with those money, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And how they can help other people who actually live in Africa.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of, and again, you're right, like that's another conversation, but there's a lot of angles that can be taken with how the current state of Africa is, right? People can either use the resources there to help themselves and others, or like we hear about is people can take advantage of those resources for bad things. But I'm definitely looking to move back to Congo within the next 5 years and
Okay.
work on different business ventures there, because a lot of the simple infrastructures that we see here, like real estate, for example, isn't over there. So
Mm-hmm.
if you build, for example, 5 houses and give them like internet or like a community pool or something, that's something that's not seen over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the basics that we see here isn't over there. So there's a lot more opportunities back home
Oh, interesting.
to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an interesting way of helping people in Africa to get a good quality of life by providing real estate and building communities.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Let's connect about this offline. Kind of want to talk to you about it as well. That was awesome. That was so great. For people, like, I usually have a fun round for every conversation. And I would like to ask you a few questions so our listeners and viewers can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, good.
So we'll have about 4 or 5 questions. Think fast.
Okay.
Try to think fast.
Ready. Good.
All right, let's do it. So let's go back for a second to elementary or middle school years.
Ooh,
What did the younger version of Tinny look like at that time?
man, all over the place. All over the...
Do tell more.
Yeah. Very, to this day, I'm very adventurous. I grew up in 3 different continents, right? So I have seen a lot of different cultures, which is great. Yeah, very adventurous, very troublemaker, ADHD.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So cool. Looks like we can have another podcast where you can tell us probably a little bit more about how you were a troublemaker.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be a long podcast.
I think we have time. We'll have time. What is your favorite go-to Halloween costume?
Whoa, I like this one. Favorite go-to Halloween costume. I'm a huge soccer fan, and every time I've dressed for Halloween, it's been wearing my Lionel Messi jersey. So
All right.
I'm a Messi fan through and through, and that's literally my costume every year is a Messi
All right. Cool.
costume. Yeah.
That's incredible. Have you taken a picture of yourself every year and sent the picture to Messi?
Not to Messi, but I can send it to you, man. It's pretty funny.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, I want to see it.
I got you.
All right, cool. All right, so next one. So if in 100 years science fails to save us and all that is left is a book about your life, what would the title be and what would the blurb tell us about Tinny Colin?
Yeah. The title would definitely be something along the lines like Failing to Success.
Failing to success.
Failing to Success. Because I fail every single day in life, but I also use those failures to succeed in life. And so I think that's definitely a worthy story, right? Highlighting my failures and highlighting every failures that I have gone through in life and how it's actually benefited me into accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish. I think that's a great lesson.
I definitely would have to get you back on the podcast to talk about failures and how they can actually lead to success. I think it's going to be incredible.
Yes, sir.
Like, we'll put something on book. We'll put something on books. So I think it's a great topic.
Yeah, so that's going to be another long podcast too if we talk about failures, not only mine, but yours as well, because I'm sure that we've gone through some stuff. But hey, that's the reason why we're ambitious, right? Because we keep on accomplishing good things because of it.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And last question. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Billboard. Man, this is a good question. Think about this one. Billboard with anything.
Yeah, I know. This question's a little bit on the thinking side, but I'll improve my questions to make it more fun.
In the thing. Honestly, it would just be a picture of, like, won't even be to like sell anything. It would just be like a picture of me that says "Smile more."
Smile more. Hey, I love it. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Smile more. Awesome. Love it, man. Hey,
We just see my big bald head, my big smile. Smile more.
you will. Yeah, I mean, hey, brother, I think we're together on this.
Hey, bald guys do it better, man. That's what I know from facts.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks so much for coming, and it was a pleasure of having you. If people want to connect with you, right, and ask you any question that they want, like how to start with the wholesaling, right, or how to build relationships, or where to get money,
Mm-hmm.
or where to get the messy T-shirt, right? How could they connect with you?
So text. You can text me directly. My cell phone number is 980-312-2444. You can also reach out to me on Facebook, Tinny Colin, and Instagram, Tinny_Colin, to message me directly. And if you want to follow my real estate journey, it's Colin Estates, all in one word. I post my journeys, my successes, and my failures in my Colin Estates page. I also have a Facebook group called Failing to Success in Multifamily. I'm not as consistent in posting on there, but when I do post, I highlight my journey and what I'm up to in real estate.
Awesome. And we're going to put those things in our show notes so you guys won't miss anything what just Tinny said. And yeah, please do connect with him. Great guy. Great guy to build relationships with. And he's going to be willing to give you any information you guys need to succeed in your life. Doesn't hold back. It just, if you want to just have a chat and find out what he's up to, feel free to connect with him. Tinny, thank you so much for coming in again. It was a pleasure.
Eugene, thank you, man. I honestly really, really had fun. Like, this was a nice conversation, and I think you asked really, really good questions, and really enjoyed coming on. And I look forward for the next one. Absolutely.
We'll do it. Absolutely. I think we have a few topics to talk about.
Lots of spots.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope that today's episode has inspired you to take action towards building the life you've always wanted. Don't forget to leave us a review, share, and subscribe to our podcast for more empowering stories, actionable insights, and motivation to help you make the shift towards your own dreams. Thanks again for listening to The Shift.